Hi, my name is Megan Truesdale. I'm a resource teacher. I teach, last year I taught kindergarten through 5th grade, so I kind of have a really wide range. I'm a special ed teacher, and I'm here to answer some questions.
Okay, thank you for joining us. All right, describe your classroom management structure.
So my classroom management is very different than like your normal classroom because I do a lot of pull-out, so I don't have a class of 26 kids. So I really try to make my classroom a relaxing and, welcoming place to be, because not every kid wants to be pulled out in front of their peers to go get help with whatever they need. So I really kind of try to make it more welcoming. I have, the rules that they go through, and a lot of my students last year, they knew the rules. They maybe needed a few reminders, but you just kind of, set them in the right direction, and having a good relationship really helps because a lot of kids knew what I was going to say before I even said it. So it kind of helped just to have that really welcoming environment. And then there was another side to it because I shared my classroom with another teacher, so we kind of had to do a lot of things together. And I always made my kids aware that we were in a setting where other students were learning as well. So they had to be aware of what they were doing so that other kids could be successful as well.
Oh, great. Yeah. Okay. How do you use technology in the classroom?
Technology is so prevalent, and it's hard to use it at times because we do a lot of direct instruction. So, doing bigger projects where the kids can take their creativity and use technology because they know how to use it. They see it in their gen ed classrooms. They see it at home. They know how to use iPads and everything. So getting them to use that in an academic way is what I really try to do. In writing, we can do like typing Tuesdays, and in reading, you can read off the computer, and just having those opportunities for them to use their creativity instead of, sneaking on a website that they want to watch or play games or something. There's time for that too, but, giving them an outlet to use it is the best way. And a lot of times I like having them choose what they want to do. If they want to make a PowerPoint to do a book report, if they, want to design a website, just like having them use the creativity and what they know how to do.
And learning how to use the internet functionally.
Yes, functionally, because when they go to high school and college, everything's going to be on the computer, learning how to type an essay, learning how to, research on the computer. So using those things in a positive way instead of saying, no, don't use it.
Yes, the fundamentals. Gotcha. All right. How do you connect your lessons to the real world?
So I'm going back to DI because we do a lot of direct instruction, and at times it can be hard because some of the stories they come up with are super crazy and irrelevant to anything. So I tell a lot of personal stories and seeing if there can be a natural flow of conversation based on that. We'll see a character or a word they don't know, and we'll go on the computer and look it up and have a conversation about what it means, how they can use it, and just different things like that, and really base it off of personal connections and where they can really see it in the real world rather than just moving on or anything. And if we all come across a word that we don't know, even if they'll be like, what does that mean? I willingly admit that I don't know it, and I'll say, let's go look it up, talk about it, and let's do that, just because I think personal experience, that's what they're always going to go back to. They're going to they're going to relate to that the best. And I've even had times where kids are like, wait, Miss Truesdale told me that she went to this one place one time, so you can tell that they're engaged in the conversation.
Yes.
And then it's not strictly, read this page in this amount of time.
And it also builds a relationship.
Yeah, which is also, because it doesn't always have to be all academic all day. Having those conversations, really shows you the kind of students and people that they are.
Yes, that's great. Okay. What are some of your tips for keeping your students on task?
I really, because my room is pull out and my students kind of know that we're on a schedule, but a lot of times they know that I'll be okay with them having a break if they, had a really long story that they just read aloud, or they took a test. I'm like, go take a few minutes, come back refreshed, go get a drink of water. So they know that once they come back from that they're ready to go, and that we're very schedule based, and, let's do this for the next few minutes, and then you can do that, just to kind of have a give and take. Because once they start getting to the 4th and 5th grade, it is their responsibility to advocate. Say, I'm really exhausted. That was really hard for me. Like, can I go get a drink of water? So I kind of like to have them be a part of the decision in staying on task. But then, you have the days where it doesn't always work out like that.
Yes.
And then you just got to change it up and keep going.
Okay. How do you differentiate for students of differing abilities, like IEPs, 504s, gifted learners?
So because I'm a special ed teacher, we learned a lot about that. And one thing that I always try not to do is not to change. Like, you never change the content of what they're learning. Yes. You present it in a different way. So if someone needs it read aloud, or the question rephrased, or if they need it on a color piece of paper, little things like that can help. It's not more so saying they can't do it, they can't do it. You have to find the way that they can do it.
The way they learn.
Yeah, the way that they learn is more important than, just saying, oh, if it's too hard for them, we'll come back to it another day. Give them a chance to do it, because there's so many ways to modify and accommodate, and, you can make it harder and you can make it easier. You can ask the two students the same exact question, but one might be like, oh my gosh, that's so hard. And then you rephrase it and they're like, wait, I know the answer to that. So it's just kind of doing what's best for that specific learner.
Great. How do you redirect negative behaviors?
It really depends on the student. Every student is different in behaviors. A lot of it, with younger ones, you kind of point out the positive behaviors and they want to go do that to get that positive reinforcement. With older students, it's a little more hard. I really give them a choice. I make them a part of the conversation. I say, this is what I'm seeing. I see that you're frustrated, and I understand why you're frustrated, so let's work together to find a solution. Do you need a break? Do you need this? Because once they get older, it's really important that they're a part of that instead of, a teacher telling them what they need to do. If you kind of have the conversation about it, then it really changes from a negative situation to a positive situation. Which
helps them identify and problem solve.
Which with younger ones, it's hard because the attention span or the concept of talking about it and problem solving is still very difficult for them because they're just learning it. But with like 4th and 5th graders, if you sit down, you're like, okay, was that the best choice we could have made? Like, let's focus on, like, what could we have done? What are you going to do next time? Just kind of flipping it around on them and making it very conversation-based and putting my own emotions to the side, which is not easy all the time.
Yes, it takes a very special person. All right. How do you describe your communication methods with parents and families?
So I think this is always an ongoing kind of thing. Email is really easy. It's very convenient to communicate with parents through email, but I don't always like to do that. Sometimes having a phone call conversation could really make it easier, not always easier, but may just have everything out there. You're willing to talk. And, having just as much good communication than, if there's a behavior communication or having that back and forth of parents feeling comfortable coming to me or letting me know that something is happening with their child so that I can address it or just take that into consideration on my day-to-day. And then, keeping in contact with meetings and different things that they need to do just so that nothing comes out of the blue because, families are busy. It's kind of like juggling everything. So just kind of being out there and saying, hey, this is what it is. Does that work for you? Let's work on it together. Just having that really open communication so that there's a good relationship with the student and the family.
Yep, relationships. Okay, what advice would you give to a first-year teacher?
So last year I was a first-year teacher, so it really resonates and is easy for me to answer is that it's not going to be perfect. You're going to want everything to be the way that you're going to want to be it, and you're going to second-guess yourself, but it's a learning process. Everything that you'll do, you're going to think that you could have done it better, or I should have done it differently, but you just have to base it off of next time you will do it better. Next time you will change the way you handle situations. So just as much as kids are learning, as adults are learning as well. I'm learning about how I want to conduct and how I want to manage my own behaviors towards other people, towards colleagues, towards everyone. So it's just kind of finding that really good positive behavior even when you may be feeling down on yourself. And is a...
Sorry.
It's okay. It is a process, but that's what teaching and learning is. It's a learning process, so you'll get through it.
Well, thank you for doing this interview.
Anytime.